this is where you need to breathe. Breathe, breathe, breathe. You need to breathe through it. You really need to breathe through it. You really need to breathe through it. You're going to spend some time in the bathroom the first time. So if you want, bring a glass of water, bring some coffee, bring a cup of tea, like Hi guys, welcome to this video. If you're new to this channel, my name is Moyo and so welcome to She Bites. I make videos all about food, faith and lifestyle, and today I'm going to be telling you and I'm going to be talking further about menstrual cups. I'm going to be releasing 3 videos actually. The first one, this one's going to be about how to insert a menstrual cup. Then we're going to have 2 more, what to do when the cup is inside of you and how to remove it. I thought it's like better to separate them into 3 different videos because you need them at different stages of this journey, and so I thought it would just be better to separate them so you don't get too much information at the start and therefore you don't have like over information anxiety or anything like that. So let's just start at the beginning. How to insert a menstrual cup. If you've not already seen my first video about an introduction to all things menstrual cups, go and watch that video. It's going to be linked in this video or in the description box, so that should be the first place that you go. But if you already know about menstrual cups, you want to just start the journey, then this video is perfect for you. Now, this is what my cup looks like. You guys have seen it many times before, and we're going to just basically go on the journey of how to insert it. The first thing about inserting menstrual cups is that you have to know where your vagina is. The vagina is basically an elastic muscular canal. What this means is that it's the muscle. It can stretch, it can contract, it can relax, and therefore it's not always in the same shape, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't know, any muscle you have around your body, if like, let me just say my biceps for example, if I move them, they move. It's not like something that stays stationary all the time and therefore must always be that way. So I think that's a very, very good way to first of all think of the vagina. And if we're talking about the vagina, we should also talk about the hymen, which is also a thin muscular tissue around the vagina that also stretches, also contracts. Yeah, that's basically it. So when you want to think about inserting a menstrual cup, you really want to know exactly where your vagina is. After you've kind of looked at it in a picture or on a diagram, then you actually have to identify where it is in yourself because it's different for each person. What does that mean? I think when we say sticking a finger up there, it sounds really gory, really like ew, like oh my gosh, it might be painful, like, and there's so many emotions that are going on around that whole thing. So the first thing I would say is, can you just first identify where it is with your finger? That doesn't mean you have to go in it, it just means you have to kind of see where it will be possible for your finger to go into, if that makes any sense. That is going to be like the first discovery. You don't actually have to put your finger in there the first time. But let's say you're ready, you actually want to start, you actually want to try and put a menstrual cup in. The first thing I would suggest is have a shower. Do it right after you've had a shower or after you've taken a bath, because you're going to have like much more moisture around yourself in that area. I also suggest, like, if you're not someone who cuts pubic hair frequently, it's also something that you should consider because it's much easier for you to navigate down there where you don't have like lots and lots of hair kind of in the way. You don't have to use a razor, you can actually just use the scissors to trim off any excess hair. It doesn't have to be like perfect, there can still be hair around there because hair is actually a protective mechanism for your vagina, but just trim it, like just so that it's not too much, like you don't have like curls and curls of hair that's just unnecessary and can trap debris. So after you're nice and trimmed, you've had a shower or you've just like basically sprayed water in that area, then it will be a good time to actually think about putting a finger in there. You can actually do this in the shower if you want to. You can like midway through your shower, just put your leg on the ledge of your bath or just squat down a bit, try and get your finger in there and see how it feels like. But when you're actually ready to put in your menstrual cup, it's really important that you actually get a finger in there beforehand so that you can understand exactly the way your vagina works. As I said before, it's not a tube, it's not a stationary place. It's a muscle, it's a muscular canal that kind of varies. It's usually kind of like tilted towards the back, but it can be tilted in one direction, to the left or to the right, depending on you. So it's really important that you can actually get in there before you try and push a cup in there, because you don't want to try and push it in the one direction. That's just going to cause you pain and make you even more afraid. So you're going to try, it's good to do this maybe on the first day of your period because then in there is already kind of stretched. So you want to just try and go in with the finger. Just follow the, what is it called, the natural progression that's going on in there. Don't push in any way that you're feeling resistance. Just keep going. Like, you should not feel any resistance or any pain, any resistance or any pain. You should just feel a progression in there, and so that will give you an idea of the direction that your vagina actually is in, and therefore you'll be much more prepared and ready to insert a cup. Then we're going to talk about different ways that you can basically fold your cup so that you can go in. I've told you guys about this already in my previous video. My favorite one is the push down fold, where you basically do this, because for me it gives a very low insertion area and makes it very easy. The easiest one though is the C fold, which is kind of recommended for a lot of people, but I would say that if it is your first time, this can be very difficult to get in there and can be more scary for you because you have such a large area going in at first. There's also the 7 fold, which I also recommend, which is basically press it down and then you press it to look like a number 7 kind of. This can also go in quite easily, but I prefer to use my push down fold. So you've just put your finger in there, right? You've just put your finger, you've understood exactly where the hole is, exactly the way that the hole bends. So you want to try as much as possible to aim this directly into that hole. It's very normal that at first you're going to miss it. Even though you just put your finger in there, you're still going to put it where you think your vagina is and not where it actually is. And so that's okay. If you're in there and you're feeling some resistance, it feels like it's not really going in, you're probably in the wrong place. You can just pull it out because it hasn't really gone anywhere anyways. Fold it again and try once more. If you have to put your finger in there a couple of times to fully understand, that is completely okay. It might take you 5, 10 false tries, but as long as you're calm, you're going to be able to do this. So that's another very important thing. You have to remain calm. Deep breaths are super important. They're super important before, when you're trying to calm yourself so that something can actually go in, and they're super important during the process so that you don't cause yourself to go into shock. Because if you're afraid, if you're anxious, if you're worried, your vagina is a muscle. It's just going to contract and prevent anything from going in there, simply put. So you want to try as much as possible to remain extremely calm. Before you insert your menstrual cup, you actually want to put it into like a cup of water, a bowl of water, to also get it like lubricated with water. Some people also use lubricants like aloe vera. If you have that, use it. It will make it much easier for everything to slide in there. But just water. If you have warm water, even better. If it's cold water, that will also work. Just put it in there. You know, you're going to spend some time in the bathroom the first time. So if you want, bring a glass of water, bring some coffee, bring a cup of tea. Like, be ready to spend some time because it's just necessary for the first time. So basically, if you've finally identified where the hole is and it's kind of going in, this is where you need to breathe. You need to breathe through it. You really need to breathe through it. You really need to breathe through it. Otherwise, you're not going to go in there because you're going to panic and you're going to pull it out halfway. So first of all, you know, it's going in quite easily. You're breathing deep breaths all the way, and then you get to the base. You get to this part that feels like your hand has to go in with it because you kind of need to push it in. And this is a place where I panic. This is a place where most people would panic, and this is the place that actually takes the most energy to get in. So I think especially the first time, the base is going to be the most painful part to get in. If you do feel some pain or you're getting the base in, I would also say do not pull it out at that point because it's okay to feel some pain at that point. If you're feeling a lot of pain when you're putting the first part in, something is wrong. But if you're kind of at the base, you've kind of seen that you're going in the right direction and you're feeling some pain, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath and just push the last bit in. Once it is in, guys. Don't give up. If the pain is too much, take it out and start once more. You would eventually be able to get it in there. So, essentially speaking, you're like this, pushing this in. Part of it is in, now you have just this little bit. It's like, oof. It's finally in. And I think what's happening in my hand is a perfect example. Can you see that it's in, but it's folded? It's still a bit folded, and this is like the last step in ensuring that your menstrual cup is in properly. If your menstrual cup is in like this, okay, you can't open it up already, show you how good it is. If your menstrual cup is in like folded like this, you're going to leak. You're going to leak because the whole point of your menstrual cup is that there's a suction. The cup is fully open, and that prevents anything from slipping around the rim of the cup. If you have any kind of little crease, you're going to leak. So once it's in there, you know, let's say you might have a little bit of a rumple somewhere, you need to now engage your pelvic floor muscles. What are your pelvic muscles? Try and hold, like do as if you're trying to hold way back. those are your pelvic muscles, and that's what you're going to use it at this stage to ensure that your menstrual cup is in properly. Some people recommend you putting your finger in all the way and checking the rim. I think that's unnecessarily painful when it's your first time and unnecessarily uncomfortable when it's your first time. So what you're going to do is you're going to use your pelvic muscles to kind of push the cup out. Like the cup is kind of in like this now, in quite far. You're going to try and use your pelvic muscles to kind of push it out a little bit. Then you're going to push it back in a little bit by yourself. Pelvic muscles push it out, you push it back in. What this does is ensures that by the movement that's happening, let's say there was a little bit of a crease, okay? You pull it out, then you push it back up. Any crease is going to basically undo itself in this process. I tend to do it 3 times to make sure that there's no creases. Then you want to make sure that it's in comfortably. You don't want this part really hanging out of yourself. You want it to be, you can feel it easily, but it's still quite long there. So basically by pushing it in and out in that way, you're going to be able to remove any creases that might remain and ensure that your cup is in, there's a good suction, and therefore there's no leakage. That is basically all the steps you need to know on how to insert a menstrual cup. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it's been helpful. If you try this out, definitely let me know how it goes for you. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and consider sharing it with your friends and your family who you think would also benefit from videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!